Hey guys, in today's video, we're going to be checking out the Diamond Select Ghostbusters Series 6. This is Vigo the Carpathian. Just how tall is Vigo? Let's go ahead and take a tape measure. The figure stands at about 7 inches. Now, this is the retail released Vigo, so unfortunately, all he comes with is a display stand. That's it. I would have hoped, and I may touch base on this a few more times over the course of this video, I would have hoped that, granted, yes, this is not the comic book store release, so he's going to be missing, I think, some diorama pieces or whatnot. But I would have hoped, if anything, Vigo could have at least come with his own portrait. Something that would have stood, of course, behind him. Ultimately, though, what we do get is just the figure that you're seeing right here. And don't get me wrong by me saying this. The figure looks fantastic. Unfortunately, I just wish he could have come with his portrait. I mean, really, when I think Ghostbusters 2, sure, yes, I think Vigo, but the one thing that I think the most is the portrait that, of course, the whole movie is really based around. That being said, let's have a look at the figure, which, unfortunately, I don't have comparisons to make between this and the Matty Collector version of Vigo. But let me just tell you that the Vigo that came from Mattel was garbage. Didn't look anything like him. I thought it was a poor-looking representation. And ultimately, I just passed altogether. This one, by contrast, is leaps and bounds better than what we did get here. I do feel like his outfit is slightly on a dark side. Doesn't seem to have not nearly some of the lighter tones that I thought the figure's costume had. But still, despite that, I think it's really good. The head sculpt is fantastic. Sure, we could have used an alternate head sculpt where the head could have been swapped out, for example, like a more angrier Vigo. But despite that, I still think this is one of Diamond Select's better looking Ghostbuster head sculpts. It does look quite a bit like Vigo. And hair sculpt's also quite nicely done. The blonde locks that Vigo is sporting. But the face sculpt is actually quite good. I think it's very acceptable. No, that's downplaying it. It's more than acceptable of a head sculpt and very, very nicely done. The torso, as really the rest of his body, is made up of browns. There's not really a whole lot breaking this guy up. Just a lot of dark browns, more dark browns, and medium browns, all kind of coming together. There's a few little pockets here where color seems to leak out, like areas around his belt buckle, and like little notches and not ratchets, but like little studs and stuff like that on his outfit in silver do stand out amongst the otherwise very chocolate-covered colors here of Vigo the Carpathian. It is unfortunate, though, and I say this with such regret, because this is such a great-looking figure that I wish he could have had a portrait. I could have even given up the idea of an alternate head sculpt in favor of simply just giving us even like a sheet of cardboard or something that would have had his portrait on that. Or maybe a wall or a brick wall or something. Or I guess his portrait isn't on a brick wall, it's freestanding. So at the very least, a freestanding picture of Vigo the Carpathian. But unfortunately, that's not what we ended up getting right here. Has some really nice stitch work here on the back of his outfit. The lower skirt portion of Vigo, a little bit of a softer plastic, almost borderline of like a rubbery plastic, as can be the same for the top, very broad collar top area of his torso here is very soft plastic as well. I don't know if you can see it, but close-up looks of that almost gives a slight indication that the material is almost like a leather material. I didn't even notice it right off the bat, but he's got some skulls here also on the sides. Very nice little touches. It definitely has a very vintage, sort of dated look to it. Definitely that's the thing it was supposed to be. Maybe even a little Oscar could have gone a long way, like a little podium with Oscar, little portrait in the background. I didn't pick up the comic book release of this one, which I think was only just the diorama piece. I don't think it really had anything else above and beyond Vigo, and I don't even think the display stand came with the comic book release. But I'd be curious to see what the comic book version of Vigo is going to come with. I think it only comes with, as I'm certain this wave starts the build of the firehouse, the front portion of the firehouse. I don't think he comes with anything else. So, you know, again, like the portrait, the painting, I know I sound like a broken record, easily could have been something that Diamond Select could have incorporated for the release of Vigo here. Like, this is a night and day comparison to what we got with the Mattel. I kind of even thought at one point of picking up the Mattel version of Vigo so I could just do a side-by-side comparison, but I even thought to myself, I'm not even going to waste the money on that piece of garbage. This is really the definitive Vigo for me. Head sculpt, or the head articulation, I should say. Head rotates all the way around. You got the hinge up and down. Again, really nice head sculpt. It's got a very malnourished, almost sickly look to it. Arms hinge outward, not restricted at all by the collar area of his torso. Forward and back motion there. He's got the hinge on the elbow, which also allows the forearm to rotate. And he's also got a rotation and hinge back and forth on the hand. No waist swivel from what I can see. It looks like it's all kind of rooted in there. Doesn't look like there is a swivel going on there. Forward and back motion on the legs. Now this is kind of where it gets a little bit more on the restricted side. Doesn't really move it out too much because like the lower skirt is so tightly fitted around the lower legs, but you can split the legs out for, if that, you know, has any value to you. You can rotate the lower leg at the knee area, which also allows the knee to hinge. Ankle pivot, forward and back motion, peg holes on the undersides of his feet. The display stand is, again, just a very, very neutral, circular, oval-shaped display base. It doesn't really have too much of a footprint space. So, for example, pegging him into place, just attach the peg to the underside of his foot. But it doesn't give a whole lot of clearance. Like, it's a very, very small, just enough to clear his feet, and really that's about it. Prior to final looks, I had a look online, and it turns out that the comic book release, or the diorama release of Vigo, is going to be coming with the Firehouse Ghostbusters 2 logo sign. Still, unfortunately, he's not going to have any sort of painting that's going to come included with him, which again, I think is the one thing that could have made this figure, an already great likeness of Vigo, that much more perfect. Excluding the painting as something that obviously clearly is not now available with this guy, the figure on its own is one of the best that we've seen from the folks over at Diamond Select for the Ghostbusters property. All of the Ghostbusters have been astounding, and this is easily one of those comparisons that one can make with the previously released, not previously looked at on this channel, but the previously released Mattel Vigo, which was an absolute god-awful representation of the character. Say what you want about Vigo. He's perhaps not as cool as Gozer, but still, I always thought he was a neat-looking character. I like the idea that it was a living painting. About the only thing Diamond Select could have incorporated, I'm sounding like a broken record, is the painting. Otherwise, it's a great-looking figure, very bare bones on what you get with him, but Vigo really didn't need a whole heck of a lot, except for the painting. Today, though, we were having a look at the Ghostbusters. This was Series 6, Vigo the Carpathian. The reviews of the other Ghostbusters from Series 6 will be coming soon, so certainly stay tuned for that. But make sure you guys have had a chance to hit that little subscribe button down below. You'll never miss a beat when it comes to future videos. I'm also going to put the link down below to the YouTube channel of Diamond Select. So if you guys want to see some of the stuff that's hitting or about to hit the store shelves before it does, the Diamond Select YouTube channel is your best bet, as you can head over there and kind of see the stuff before it hits the stores. As always, guys, thanks for watching, as you always do. Certainly more videos will be coming your way. Thanks for watching. See you next time.